Chums, according to a very good source close to the king, he still hopes, and you can understand this in many respects, that his two sons may reconcile during his lifetime.
For years, King Charles III has held on to something far more fragile than power. He has held on to hope. Not the kind of hope that wins elections or secures alliances, but something deeply personal. The hope that his two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, might one day find their way back to each other. In many ways, this has been one of the most defining emotional struggles of his reign. While the world focuses on crowns, ceremonies, and public duties, the real battle has been happening quietly behind palace walls, a battle between duty and family. The divide between William and Harry is no longer just a temporary disagreement or a phase of distance. It has evolved into something much deeper, a breakdown of trust. Trust, in the royal family, is not just emotional, it is institutional. Every word, every appearance, every relationship carries weight far beyond the personal. That is why moments like the funeral of Prince Philip became so symbolic. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, stepped aside to allow the brothers to walk together, it wasn't staged drama. It was a rare and genuine attempt to create space for reconciliation. But even in that moment, the distance between them was visible. The silence spoke louder than any words. Prince William's stance in all of this has become increasingly firm over time. He is no longer just the elder brother, he is the future king. That shift changes everything. His decisions are no longer guided purely by emotion, but by responsibility. From his perspective, the monarchy must come first, and anything that threatens its stability must be handled carefully, even if that means distancing himself from his own brother. Many observers describe William as stubborn, but from another angle, he appears calculated and protective. For him, rebuilding a relationship without trust is not just difficult, it may be impossible. On the other side, Prince Harry presents a complicated contradiction. Publicly, he has expressed a desire for reconciliation. He has spoken about wanting peace, about wanting his family back. But at the same time, his actions have often worked against that goal. Interviews, documentaries, and public statements have kept private matters in the spotlight. In the traditional royal system, silence is a form of loyalty. Speaking out, even if it feels justified, is often seen as breaking that unwritten code. This is where the real tension lies. Harry believes he is telling his truth, while the institution sees it as damaging exposure. The role of Meghan Markle in this dynamic cannot be ignored. Whether viewed positively or critically, her presence has undeniably changed the structure of royal storytelling. She represents a more modern, direct, and media-aware approach, one that clashes with the monarchy's traditional preference for restraint and controlled messaging. In the royal family, symbolism matters deeply. Even small gestures, like how one greets the monarch or follows protocol, carry centuries of meaning. When those traditions are challenged or interpreted differently, it creates friction that goes beyond personality differences. This tension becomes even more complex when it intersects with global politics. Figures like Donald Trump highlight the delicate balance the monarchy must maintain. The royal family is expected to remain politically neutral, acting as a unifying symbol rather than a divisive voice. However, when Harry speaks openly on political matters, it creates a ripple effect. Even though he is no longer a working royal, his identity is still tied to the institution. This puts pressure on King Charles, who must maintain diplomatic relationships while managing the consequences of statements he does not control. In contrast, Prince William has taken a very different approach. His strategy is quiet, controlled, and long-term. Rather than engaging publicly, he focuses on building relationships behind the scenes. This includes connections with global leaders, charitable organizations, and influential figures. His partnership with Catherine, Princess of Wales, also plays a key role in this strategy. Together, they present a stable, future-focused image of the monarchy, one that emphasizes continuity rather than conflict. Their interactions with figures like Melania Trump reflect a broader effort to maintain diplomatic warmth without stepping into political controversy. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have been building a different kind of presence, one rooted in media, storytelling, and personal branding. Their projects, appearances, and ventures reflect a shift away from traditional royal duties toward a more independent model. However, this independence comes with its own challenges. Their connection to the royal family remains central to their public identity, which creates a complicated balance. They are both inside and outside the system at the same time, and that position is inherently unstable. Events like their visit to Australia highlight this tension. While presented as a private trip, the level of media coverage and public attention suggested something closer to a public engagement. This blurred line between private and public creates confusion, not just for audiences, but for institutions as well. In the monarchy, clarity of role is essential. When that clarity is lost, it raises questions about purpose and intention. At the heart of all this is a struggle over narrative. The royal family has always maintained a carefully controlled public image. Stories are managed, appearances are planned, and messages are consistent. Harry and Meghan, however, have chosen to tell their story in their own way, often bypassing traditional channels. This creates two parallel narratives, one official, one personal, and the gap between them continues to grow. For King Charles, this situation represents one of the greatest challenges of his reign. He must balance his role as a father with his responsibility as a monarch. While he may personally wish for reconciliation, he cannot allow emotional decisions to undermine the stability of the institution. This is the reality of monarchy. The crown always comes first. Personal relationships, no matter how important, must sometimes take a secondary role. What makes this situation different from past royal conflicts is its global visibility. Social media, streaming platforms, and international news coverage have amplified every detail. This is no longer just a family matter. It is a global narrative that millions of people are following in real time. The monarchy is being tested in a way that previous generations never experienced. In many ways, power within the royal family has already begun to shift. While King Charles remains the reigning monarch, Prince William is increasingly seen as the future leader shaping the next phase of the institution. His decisions, his approach, and his alliances reflect a long-term vision for a modern monarchy, one that is more streamlined, more controlled, and less tolerant of internal disruption. This leaves Prince Harry in a difficult position. He is no longer a central part of the royal structure, yet he cannot fully separate himself from it. His identity is deeply tied to the institution, even as he seeks to redefine it on his own terms. This in-between space is perhaps the most challenging place to exist, neither fully inside nor completely outside. In the end, this story is not just about conflict. It is about transition. The British monarchy is evolving, adapting to a changing world while trying to preserve its core identity. Relationships will change, roles will shift, and not everyone will fit into the future being shaped. But the institution itself is designed to endure. The real question is not whether the monarchy will survive, it will. The question is who will shape its future, and who will be left behind as it moves forward. Rejection after rejection. How much pressure can one brand take before everything starts to crack? Is this just a rough phase, or are we witnessing the beginning of a serious downfall? If you want more breakdowns like this, real stories, real pressure, and what it all means, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next.